the negative go. Exhale, believe. Break your mind out of jail. As long as you believe, you can never fail. Breathe. Exhale, let the negative go. To exhale, believe. Break your mind out of jail. As long as you believe, you can never fail. Breathe. Believe. Break your mind out of jail. Breathe. Exhale. Believe. Break your mind out of jail. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to today's first Noonday Nugget. Here, you will receive little nuggets in the form of devotion, scriptures, prayer. It could come in any form. It all depends on what God lays on my heart or the heart of those that I have as co-hosts with me. I will also have co-hosts that will give you nuggets from different professionals, valuable lessons in finances, stages of purchasing a home, health and wellness, nutrition, and so much more. So let go of the negative and change your thinking and believe you have the power to rewrite your story. If you're watching the replay, I say thank you for joining us. And if you can, put hashtag replay in the comment section so that I know that you're watching the replay. And please don't be shy about the questions or any statements. They are all welcomed. Today's nugget is titled, Giving Up is Not an Option. I will be using quotes today from Minister Rick Pena. He's a pastor. He's a minister at our church, an elder. He's also the CEO of Rick and Isabel Ministries. And also from Pastor Sean Strickland. She's a personal development coach. And she also pastors a church in Arkansas. So if you need a coach, she's a very good personal development coach. I've coached with her plenty of times. And also, today's show is sponsored by Manu Williams. If you're interested in buying a home, please contact Manu Williams at the information you see here. She gives her clients 100% focus. So contact Manu Williams if you're interested in buying or selling a home. Thank you, Manu, for sponsoring the show today. So now let's get into today's nugget. It's titled, Giving Up is Not an Option. Minister Rick Pena always tell us to find, follow, and finish our assignment. We are here for a reason. God knew your end before your beginning. You have work to do, so always remember that. You cannot let go of the fact that this project didn't work or this idea failed you, or beat up on yourself that you failed at any particular, situation. You can't give up. You must keep going. There is not a problem with failing. You learn to become a better person from them. You learn what not to do or how to do things better. When you fall, God will not leave you. You have to look to Him so that you don't get stuck in the valley. In Proverbs 24:16, it reads from the Easy Reason version, good people might fall again, but they always get up. It is the wicked who are... I'm sorry, let me read it, make sure I give it to you correctly. Proverbs 24:16 from the Easy Reason version says, good people might fall again and again, but they always get up. It is the wicked who are defeated by their troubles. So don't let your situation defeat you. Don't let it control you. Sometimes we give up and we're right there at the door of our breakthrough. If you just get up and just push harder, just try just a little bit more, you don't know. Your breakthrough may be right there, but you would never get to it if you give up. I was forced to retire from the military early. I did 17 years instead of 20. So, of course, that means we're working with less money. I can't work right now because of my treatment. And my daughter just graduated from high school. That's enough to make anybody go crazy. Um, I'm quite sure y'all know what I mean with that. But I didn't give up. I kept pushing. I took my retirement as a time to focus on growing and enhancing Exhale and Believe. It's a vision I know that God put in me, that He has been dropping little nuggets in my life pretty much since 2009, from what I can remember. It's probably further back than that. But, you know, I kept moving, I kept going. Even with my diagnosis, I held on to that word from Pastor Cynthia, and I always told the doctor, "You're not going to find anything." I kept pushing myself. I kept pushing myself. I know that God knows my ending. So if He already knows my ending, then in between now and my ending, I just need to keep pushing. And I can't let anything in front of me force me to give up. I know this journey is not about me. So giving up is not an option. If I gave up, I wouldn't even be here for you. My passion is encouraging and supporting others. And doing what God told me to do. If you give up, then you will never see the manifestation of the blessings that God has for you and His promises. T.D. Jakes says in his book, Repositioning Yourself, Living Life Without Limits. He says, if we are going to throw off the limitations of our past failures, we must look for opportunities to learn from our failures. We must be strategic and deliberate. Pastor Sean Strickland has been preaching strongly on that, to be strategic and deliberate in your actions and what you do. She always talks about, just having different streams of income. And the only way that you could do that is if you're strategic and you're deliberate about every move that you make. And I also learned somewhere that if it's not a yes, because it's helping you get to your goal, if it's not helping you get to your goal, then it shouldn't be a yes. It should be a no, because you got to be strategic, you got to be deliberate, and you got to be focused. So when you fail, you need to get up and make sure that you're working on those two areas. So he says, we must be strategic and deliberate. Our punches must connect. We must fight strategically for the prizes we long to enjoy. We must invest our energy in direct connection to our goals. Often well-meaning people say to me, "You deserve the success. You worked so hard." I understand what they mean. They are comparing me to people who do nothing and expect everything. There's so many people in the world like that today. But it's a mistake to believe that hard work always yield great results. And that's when you put your heart and sweat into this project and it doesn't work out. And you consider yourself a failure. You can't stay in the valley. You cannot stay there. Someone somewhere is waiting for you. So you got to continuously get up. Tyler Perry always says that, you could get 100 no's, but when you get that one yes, that's all you need. So don't stay down. I can't remember who it was, but I guess I could still use Tyler Perry because he had the same experience where people didn't watch his play. People didn't want his plays. People didn't, want it. Sylvester Stallone with Rocky. Nobody wanted his story. Nobody wanted it. And when he finally got somebody to get his story, The only thing that he wanted was he had to be the lead character. And they told him no. But he didn't give up. And how many rockets we got now? And now we got Creed, and I think Creed 2 coming out. Imagine if he would have gave up. Imagine if Tyler Perry would have gave up. You push, you push, you push, and you work hard. It's not saying that it's always going to work out, but when you fail, you learn from that mistake. You look back, and I'm going to give you 3 points. Number one, failing is not bad. It's a time for you to learn. It's a time for you to sit back, look back over what you did, what energy you put in, the people you surrounded yourself with, and make a shift. Make some changes and get back up. Number two, look back and look at what went wrong. What could you have done differently? What areas could you have focused on more instead of this area right here? And then number three, surround yourself with your faithful few. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. You need those few people that are going to surround themselves around you and support you in your dream and vision. Because remember, everybody around you is not for you. And when you're in the valley trying to climb out, those are the people you don't need around you. You need those faithful few that's going to support you. And then you need to start doing the work again, putting in the energy again to move forth whatever mission it was. When I started Exhale and Believe, it actually started out as Let's Talk About You. And I ended up having to change the name to Exhale and Believe. When I share my story, you'll get all of that information. But when it started out as Let's Talk About You, I put a lot of energy and paid a lot of money, and things just didn't go right for me. But I stayed focused. I surrounded myself with my faithful few, my husband, Robin, and Shalene, the three you met on Sunday. And we got together and we pushed, and they supported the vision. And here I am now talking to you all. So never give up on your dreams. Never give up on the vision or whatever God put inside you to birth, because there's someone somewhere. My thought process is that I have to do what God tells me to do, because I need to be in that position for someone else so that I could overflow in them whatever God has for me. And then they could overflow in the next person, and they could overflow in the next person. But if I don't keep pushing and be where I'm supposed to be, then I can't help that person. A prime example of that, yesterday I was supposed to get treatment. And after I got there and I had been there for almost an hour, they told me that I couldn't get treatment because I had my scan today. Well, while I was sitting there waiting, I was there talking to a gentleman who he had prostate cancer. He was going through it for 13 years. And we just had a wonderful, wonderful conversation. I was able to minister to him. And he went back there. He was there to get his scans read. And because the medication he was on, I don't know exactly his time frame that he was on it, but for 6 months, he was not able to, he hasn't been able to taste food for 6 months. I go through that for a couple of days and it drives me crazy. So I couldn't imagine going through it for six months. But our conversation, I was able to just minister into his life. And I promised him that, so he went back to the doctor. And, when he came back, he was smiling, and he was like, they took him off the medication. And that's what we prayed for before he went back. So if I, again, didn't continuously push myself to do and to be there and to encourage others, I wouldn't have been there to minister to him. God always have a plan for us. And just because, I could have looked at it as an inconvenience because I didn't have to wake up that early. I mean, I think I was there at 8:00 and I didn't have to wake up that early, but I had the opportunity to minister to someone. And that is a blessing in itself. So keep pushing yourself, never give up, and just always know that God is with you. He's never going to leave you. And I mean, that is the biggest milestone, is to know that God will never leave you. So, thank you all for joining me on today's Noonday Nugget. As I stated earlier, Noonday Nuggets will consist of many different things. And everything is going to be to help someone, to encourage someone. So I hope that you are able to pull something from today's message. Giving up is not an option. Just never give up on yourself and never give up on those around you that you see are trying to help themselves. Because we all have something that God placed in us that we need to overflow into someone else. So thank you all for joining me today. Please share this video with someone that you think can that it may encourage, inspire, or uplift in some shape, form, or fashion. Join me on Friday for another Noonday Nugget. Sunday, our guest will be Dawn Bird. She is a member of the church, and I will have her ad up and running today. Not her ad, I'm sorry, her bio, and a little synopsis about what she's going to share. But the title of her story is Patiently Waiting, and she has an amazing story. So I hope you'll join me on Sunday at 6 p.m. for Exhale and Believe episode number 2. I love you guys. You all have a blessed day, and I will talk with you on Friday. That's a wrap. Peace.